All right, Danny, I think we're good. Just make sure your mic's on if you're talking today. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. We're going to call this meeting for the Parks and Recreation Committee, April 23rd, 2024 to order. And to start with, we're going to do the approval of the minutes from February 22nd. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All righty, moving right along to the staff report.
All right. We didn't meet in March, so we have about 2 months to kind of update you guys on. So we had the community awards banquet that was held on February 29th, 2024. That's again in partnership with the city of Smithville and the Smithville Area Chamber of Commerce to put on a fundraising banquet to just give honor to volunteers and dedicated community members while raising funds for both organizations. We met last week and we raised $24,275. So that's pretty equal to what we raised last year as well. And so that's split 50-50 with us and the chamber. So just a little over $12,000 that are going to the legacy fund, which that project that we're fundraising for that altogether is for the shelter and stage at Heritage Park in the future. So if you remember back in September of 2003, we had some issues with the Main Street water fountains. We got new ones in over the winter and the new ones were installed and they are working. So water fountains are back. So appreciate you guys helping us get some money around for that. Park maintenance, they've been busy preparing for the spring season. They started mowing and planting flowers around the community, and they're preparing to start some projects on the spillway restroom. You guys probably weren't made aware of this, but we had some issues on the tennis and basketball court with some cracks that are getting larger. We closed those down 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Time's going quick, but we had the city insurance company come out and inspect them. They gave us kind of a to-do list to fix them and get it back open. Today, Chase and Mark both filled the cracks. They're gonna let those sit for a day or two, and then we'll open it back up to the public. So should be good to go. Let's see here. Oh, and also what park maintenance did yesterday was when we just did a full park and facilities inspection of all facilities, maintenance, parks, things like that. And the Emerald Ridge playground was just getting worse. So as of today, it's not there anymore. So they had taken that down because it was kind of rocking. It was some shards were, sprayed out. Things were loose. Just wasn't looking good. So as far as liability, we got approval to go ahead and take that down before anything worse happened in the meantime. So perfect timing to vote today to get a new playground. We did put a sign there saying a new playground's on its way. Chase mentioned that a couple of neighbors came out and are excited for the future of something better up there. And then just over time here, we do multiple Eagle Scout projects throughout the year. I don't know if you guys were on social media, but Cooper Crampton completed his Eagle Scout project of painting and landscaping the Heritage Park caboose. We posted some pictures on social media. They put a bench out last week, and I just signed the final paperwork today before this meeting with him and let him know how impressed I was with how good it looks out there now. So
That looks really good.
yeah. Some other projects that are in the works right now are landscaping around the park signage, little libraries, and a structure photo opportunity. So that one's kind of new, but we'll continue to work with them on those projects. Alex isn't able to make it, but she has a rec report in there. Soccer, half of it's finishing up. The rest will be finishing up this weekend. Baseball, softball, and t-ball have started practices. Baseball, softball games start next week, and then t-ball will be starting here in a couple weeks as well.
Can I say I've mentioned before?
Yes.
So I work for the school in PAT and run into a lot of parents who've done little kickers more than I had talked to previously,
Yeah.
just on the playground. They love it, and it's
It's
been
good.
great. I have a lot of parents who are like, my kid felt confident going into the first season of regular soccer, or they've just really enjoyed the new curriculum for
Good.
Little Kickers. So
Good. You know, that program's always probably one of the more stressful ones, and it's one, you know, it's just to find the volunteers and just the instructors for that is always tough. So yeah, Aspen does the best what she can, and obviously it runs better when she's there, but we don't want her to have to be out there every weekend to get that stuff done. So I appreciate that. I'll let her know. But that's all I have for staff report, unless you guys have any questions regarding it.
I think so. Anybody have any questions? All right, we will move right along to the Emerald Ridge Park design.
Awesome.
Discussion and vote.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and we'll get started here, and Compan and Athco representatives are here again to kind of go over their final designs. But just as a recap, we've started in September getting designs. We've looked at this a few times and gathered feedback. Once we got to the new year in 24, we did a public comments, had a few people there to give us feedback, but some great feedback came out of that and between this group and others. We looked at those feedback, went back to the drawing board, and in February came back with a new design. In February, both Compan and Athco were here to present. You guys asked some good questions, good feedback to them. And they took what you guys talked about in February and gave almost 2 months now to really get some stuff together and provide some feedback. Both companies tonight have provided their final designs to be voted on. Each company will provide a final presentation and allow for questions. After both have presented, staff will ask the committee to vote. So, dun, dun, dun. So with that being said, I'm going to have Colin with Athco come up.
So yeah, thanks for having me back. I didn't change a ton other than just some additions. I know some of the feedback was the younger kids, we didn't want to forget about them. So the 2 to 5 structure, we added our smart play motion, which that kind of, you go up one more, Matt. Kind of there in the forefront there. So that's a really fun piece. Couple slides, some climbing activities, some sensory and interactive panels, a little racetrack they can bring Matchbox cars to. We've had that on the market for 10+ years now, and it still goes in almost every park we do that wants to incorporate something for the 2 to 5 age range. We kept the WeGo swing. We know that was a staple of the design and very important to the community, adding that. So that was really cool. The turf mound stayed. We did add the swings. That was probably the most prominent feedback we got from the last meeting. So we did the friendship swing, which is a multi-user swing for 2 kids, multiple kids, a parent, a grandparent. It is accessible. The belting will conform to pretty much any size or shape person that is interested in using it. It has its own bay, but we were able to do a 2-bay system that shares that center post to allow for a little bit more to maximize the space and help with the installation costs. So then there in the second bay, we have the molded bucket swing with a harness, which is suited for ages 5 to 12. But because of that harness, smaller kids or kids that don't necessarily have the core strength or the ability to use a traditional belt swing, it's a great option. But once again, all size kids can use it. So it's not just limited or intended for one type of kid. It just has some extra attributes to help make it more inclusive. And then lastly, the traditional belt swing. So swings are tough. They have a large footprint, require a lot of safety zone, but we're able to fit it in without increasing the size and shape of the area. Then we added the oodle swing, and that's sort of out there on the perimeter, just because it was mentioned. It might have been during the campaign presentation, but that style swing was brought up. So I just wanted to show that we do have a version of it, and you know, it's for I'd say, 5, 6 kids if, they want to take the risk or pile on
Mhm.
there. It's got the room for it and no weight restrictions or anything. So once again, multi-generational parents, grandparents, multiple kids. It's a great variety, but I mentioned it's on the exterior because it does create a lot of extra usage zone, more turf, more space, which is more cost. So in an attempt to keep the cost low, because right now we're at the 466 price point, kind of taking the a la carte approach where we can back things out to get to that 450, or shade was mentioned. So if we want to remove a couple items and get to the shade on top of the Volo, design the main structure there, there's definitely a path for that. So really, it wasn't, I didn't want to direct the conversation or, tell you guys what you need. I wanted to hear what you want, and then we've got options ready to go to make that work with the budget. So shade on top of the Volo, we'd probably have to lose the Oodle swing, but because I could shave out the turf and I'd make it more of like a clean oval, and this would probably be music to Matt's ears. Get rid of all that grass inside where the turf and the shelter is up there to reduce any maintenance in there, having to get a mower in there. So I'd actually push the shelter outside of that, and it would be the connector between the basketball court and the playground. And I put an image together, just a quick PDF, but I don't think the email's sent, so I can send it to you later for reference. But pretty much it would clean up the whole look of the park. The playground would be all within one sort of oval shape, all turf, so no maintenance inside of it. And then a small, like 5-foot sidewalk to the shelter. And then the additional, 5-foot roughly sidewalk to the basketball court. So the pros of that would be, we could actually add the shade to the Volo and keep all equipment shown, but the Oodle swing up there on the left there. So it wouldn't be losing much play value, and we have alternate swings, similar, sensory coming from that. So not losing much play value there, cleaning up the shape a little bit, helping with the maintenance. And really the only con would be the walking trail would be probably about 20 to 30% shorter. It'd still be a circle, so people could walk it as much as they want, but it wouldn't be exploring as much of the park as we were kind of going for. But I know each time we've done a revision, that's sort of been, well, that's okay to reduce the walking trail as long as we have it. Size isn't necessarily a driving force in the design and the plan, so. But yeah, we've sort of ended up with a little bit of a goofy shape with all the revisions, so I think it'd make more sense to just clean that up in some type of kind of oblong, circle, or oval. Get rid of the maintenance, and then more flow, because the shelter would sort of be the centerpiece between the playground and the basketball court. And hopefully we're checking all the boxes based off the last meeting with the traditional swings, the molded bucket swing, the friendship swing, and then the 2 to 5 structure, and only losing the Oodle. But if the Oodle is something that, the group thinks, no, we need to keep it, then we'd probably have to forget about doing any shade on top of the Volo system.
What would the price point be if we were to do that second option?
Which would be
The shade and
the shade and no Oodle
smaller,
swing.
yeah.
So really, we'd probably be right at your 450 budget. Just kind of because, how do I want to explain this? So I use more rounded numbers just because when we remove one piece of equipment, we're reducing turf, labor, freight, all that. So it gets a little bit complicated, but based off, all the math I did this afternoon, any of the scenarios I just brought up, I'm confident we could get to your 450 price point, hopefully a little below it, but probably use the full budget, but those would be your options. So they're all on the table, and we'd all be right at your budget.
Anybody have any thoughts or comments?
Appreciate you taking our feedback each time and adjusting and delivering what we've been asking for in every rendering, even though it's been back and forth a few
It's been a
times.
lot of back and forth.
No, happy to do it. And yeah, I apologize. I don't have, renderings with the oval shape, but I sort of wanted to
So-
get a little bit more feedback before we do the final
But
cleanup.
essentially, we'd be just cutting off this, right?
Correct.
And
yes,
then
sir.
that grass goes away.
Yep.
Okay.
Clean up the overall shape, make it look just a little bit more aesthetically appealing
Yep.
to everybody. And then, yeah, pretty much the only con that I came up with would be the walking trail would be reduced a little bit in size, but
Yeah,
You-
size of the walking trail, I don't think is as big a deal. I do think we'll probably end up putting a picnic table or something under that shade structure. And as it is right now, it's not easy to walk through it if we put, do you understand?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So if we did the walking trail on the outside of the shade structure, could we do that? Just so it's continuous for walking purposes? You
Correct.
see what I mean?
And I
Just so
didn't-
we're not walking through the middle of it.
Yeah, and I didn't explain that very well. It would be. So
Okay,
the
cool.
shelter would be the centerpiece between the court and the playground, and the two little extensions that they're shown there, they're just not in the right spot, would actually connect the basketball court to the exterior side of the walking trail. So
Okay.
yeah, there would be no traffic through that unless you wanted to go from basketball court to playground. But the walking trail would not intersect that.
And then the other question that I had, and we have a couple of us here that have kiddos that are either small or have been small at some point.
I'm gonna play on this playground. Our student rep's not here. I'm sure he's gonna play
Where
on this
is he?
playground.
So my thought is the one that's molded, that has the piece that comes down.
Uh-huh.
There's not really a swing for babies unless they're being held. My thought, if y'all think this is dumb, that's fine. The baby belted swing, that's like the, traditional with the T-shape in the middle. I think I would rather see one of those than the molded one. Just
Okay.
so that brother and sister can swing next to each other. Cause if you have like a smaller kiddo, sometimes like if they don't sit up super well, they can sit in the belted one, but they can't sit in the,
I agree.
The
I got-
latched one.
I got 2 under 2 at home right now, so I get that.
I'm like, I wouldn't put my little guy in
No.
that latched one,
No, I
just cause
would-
it's a little big for
I
him.
would not either, and I will propose this. So an easy way to add one of the molded tot swings is you don't need an actual post. We can do an extension, a T-arm off the side of it to where no more really extra material other than the post and the swing. So no footing in the ground, and the labor on swings usually ends up costing more than the equipment. It would add a little bit more safety zone, but I'm still,
If we're getting rid of the one swing, we should have space.
Like, is
yeah.
that doable to
Yeah.
do?
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would
So-
just, I have a lot of friends who have like 2 kids and one can swing on the regular swing and the baby goes in the other one, and not having the baby option.
Yeah.
They can obviously sit in the one and sit in the glider, but I feel like that one could go away and the purposes for it could be used in those 2 swings as well. Whereas
Yeah.
a baby swing is a little different, but
Unlike last time, that's actually a really easy fix. So.
sweet.
The other
Yay.
thing I'd
We like
ask before
easy
the meeting,
fixes.
in the rendering, is the material on the roof of the shelter metal or is it shingles?
Yeah, it'd be like a multi-rib metal roofing.
Okay, so it's similar to what's in the other
Yeah.
picture. Okay.
Yep. Yep, galvanized powder coated frame and multi-rib, just like you'd see on a barn or any other permanent park shelter. And then I did bring a sample of the turf we're using. So this is a playground grass. Full benefit there is like a lot of other turfs. You see the sand or the rubber infill. This does not require infill, so kids aren't gonna be coming home with rubber pellets in their shoes or a big
You know,
mess.
soccer players,
Mhm. Yeah.
Hoping to clean
it
that up.
welds in
Yeah.
your socks.
Yes.
Yeah.
So don't have to worry about that. This is
Is that the
definitely
same
our
stuff that
most
we have
popular
currently?
grass.
No,
This isn't the same stuff.
A little, I think that one's a little longer, but it's a different company that would be doing that, yeah.
Could we see what the shade structure looks like?
Yeah. Did you get those pictures, Matt? Did that email show up?
It did not, yeah.
Okay, if you go to, just, do you have, yeah, if you have a browser, just go to playlsi.com.
Is there possibly, you said there's something with Hot Wheels cars?
Yeah, on the
Is there
little,
video for that?
yeah,
I want to see it.
okay, yeah, we can go to the YouTube.
That sounds like
and look at
fun.
that.
I will say, when I was looking at the redesign, I was surprised to see so much more added. So that was nice
Yeah.
to, like, we added a whole play structure for the little ones. That's really nice. And I really like the sensory boards. I think those are fantastic. Did you see the thingy that you talk in?
Mhm.
Do they work?
You do.
Are you sure?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, I can send you some locations. The one,
Okay, so we had a joke. I saw a video
You know
the
what
other day that was
you know what
like,
the Link is real fast.
yeah, they just a lot of times don't work and it's just really funny. I sent it to Matt the other day. There's supposed to be a tube under the ground.
Volo, you can just click on Volo, we'll start there.
Yeah,
We can skip a step.
yeah. We have, yeah, the one at the dam doesn't work, but it's just, it was funny because I had sent Matt a video the other day and it was like, if you're on a parks committee, you know what this is. And then when it showed up on this, I laughed. It was so funny.
When we did this video.
You can just click that one, yeah, that'll show the shade.
Yeah, the one you're talking, the little
It
tube
used to
thingy.
work.
It doesn't now.
Verbo is for sharing all kinds of
I'm sure it works
moments.
at some point.
Yellow dance station.
From teeing off.
This is what you're talking, the shade structure over the Volvo.
Oh, cool.
I had an
Oh, yeah, that
overhead-
looks great.
had an overhead view, but my internet must not have sent from the parking lot, so I can get at the map once again tomorrow. But yeah, that's a good indicator. It is a good amount of shade coverage, and it's all from the top, pretty much covers, I would say, 80% of the equipment, and then the slides wouldn't be covered.
Yeah,
but,
there it is.
There.
There you go,
Yeah.
Ben.
Keep this slides nice and hot, right, Danny?
Yeah,
Get the water melted off.
you live and you learn, okay? I didn't know that they would be molten lava if we faced them the other direction.
Unless I take a page, and then from there, if you want to.
Welcome to Landscape Structures YouTube channel.
Yeah, there's always like a puddle at the bottom
Yeah.
now. I don't know how that happens.
Condensation. You live in the Midwest.
That's what it is. We live in the Midwest. It's either
Oh, okay.
I get frizzy.
really cold or really hot.
I have to watch the whole video here, but I do know at some point in the video it shows kids using the.
I just wanted to, is it the little
one's
like curvy piece that goes around, the little like raised curvy? piece?
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah, right there at the top. See
This
at
is for the
top?
2 to 5 age, yeah.
It's on the top of the. Right above the.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'll bring my Hot Wheels. First, I gotta buy some Hot Wheels.
I've got some in my house. I'll throw them in with the
Okay.
poncho.
That's fun. Okay.
Got like no cars on it, right?
Mhm.
And if it would help, I can kind of organize a video with a link to every feature we're using on the project, if that would be useful to you guys. You just click through and know the video you're watching, you'd have one of on your playground, so. Cool. Happy to do that.
Any other questions for Colin?
I'm good currently.
All right, thanks, Colin.
Cool, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, and we have Brent with Compan here.
How's everybody doing today?
Hi, Brent.
Sorry, we came straight from softball practice.
Oh, you're fine.
So realistically, when we talked, a lot of the changes that we talked about had more to do with price. I
Were you
was,
talking the mic so I can hear you on
oh, sorry. I was way over price and budget. I was at 502 for the project, so that was really what we focused on. And so I didn't change a whole lot of equipment. The only thing we did was take out the junior spica, which is the one piece to be able to change the footprint just a little bit to save some money on turf and structures. What we focused on reducing the amount of concrete work at the project. So we reduced it by about 42%, which was on cost of the trail. And then we actually reduced the actual overall dirt work for the site by about 27%. So it helped us get us down to that 450 mark. So we're right on the budget for this project. Everything's the same. So what we did is we moved the basketball court just a little bit closer. We moved the the structure, the shelter from in between over to the side. So it is out of the way, so you can have picnic tables. It doesn't, has clear access. Their trail goes all the way around, much like you do at Diamond Ridge. And as far as that goes, we didn't really change any of the structures. We had already made the changes in the prior conversation to having a ramp structure. As you can see, there's integrated play panels all across the structure. So a multitude of different play panels, interactions, sensory play elements, as well as the ramp for the 2 to 5 area. That has a capacity of 34 kids, 2 different play types, so a lot of different varieties in play. And then the 5 to 12, we did 2 standard swings, and then the disc swing. The reason I like to do the hard plastic disc swing is it is available for kids to transfer. It does meet the ADA requirements, but what it does is gives you the flexibility to be able to have multiple kids on it, and all types of able-bodied children as well can play and access. So the universal carousel is the spinning feature we have, which is again the sensory side. This is fun for kids who are in wheelchairs, kids who are not in wheelchairs, really a well-rounded piece of equipment. One thing I really do like about this is it does have a very light design, so it is easy to maneuver, push, and maintain. So you can spend a lot of time on there pushing around without getting wore out. And then we have our standard post and platform structure, multiple slides, multiple climbing bridges, several interactive play panels as well. And then, so we have a 35 capacity on this playground with 21 different play types. And then we have the basketball court, and then we have the multi-purpose, the soccer goal. Soccer keeps growing tremendously in the Kansas City markets. We're talking about little kickers. This is, one of the challenges is to mow. You have to move them constantly. So a lot of times they get taken out of the way when it's off season and there's not games going on. So this gives the kids in the neighborhood a place to practice, work on their skills without actually being something that we have to mow around, maintenance, and deal with all the rest of the year, so. And then there's the picture of our shelter house. It's a prefab metal shelter with concrete footers and everything is there where too. And we do have the ability to change colors, but we did go with the forest green for the pictures and for the proposal there. Smithville's got a lot of green in it, so we kind of stuck with that theme, so.
Nice.
Doing synthetic turf as well, very similar to the brand there. When we're using ProTech out of Ohio, it actually manufactures the turf and uses the install. They've done several projects for us in the Kansas City area, do a great job, a great price, and really work well with our team, so.
Anybody have any questions? Comments?
Silly to consider facing the soccer goal the other way, so when they're running around, it's on grass instead of concrete.
We could, we could spin it if
Maybe
you,
like why is it backwards?
yeah, that's not a problem. We can switch it the other way. But what we do a lot with our soccer goals like this is they're multi-sport courts, so they're actually fenced in all the way around. So we had it fenced in so that as an option later on, but we can switch it, absolutely. It's just spinning, it's just real simple. To be able to go from it the other person.
I see someone complaining about it,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm like, I also
Yeah.
think it's really smart because you could use it both ways. And they could use the basketball court and play soccer at the same time.
Yep.
Would it be graded appropriately for that? Like the
Believe-
grass behind
It would be pretty
wherever that
close.
is?
It would be pretty, yeah,
I
that
mean,
area where that,
maybe a 3 to 4%, it's a 3.5% grade now.
Yeah.
So at the worst case scenario, that would be there, but we will be doing some grading around the basketball court and area grade now. Our goal is 2%. So we should have about a 2% grade, which is gonna be pretty similar to what the soccer fields are now.
yeah,
So it wouldn't be way.
it's pretty flat in that area to start with, so I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Once we get out that far, there's a little bit of a dip.
On that north side, yeah.
Flattens-
Hmm.
Flattens back out and
Yeah.
then you actually would have all the area. We could actually move it to the north side.
Like switch them?
Well, yeah, so if we did it the north side, you'd be, do it, but you'd have that bigger space out there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think it's flexible, as
Yeah.
you were mentioning, yeah.
yeah, the cost is, it's just a question where we put it. And
Yeah.
you guys get to make that decision, how we start the design, and we can make that change really easy. It's just a question of the 2Ds, before we do a finalized deal.
Any other comments?
You said this is on budget then, 450?
Yep. The changes that concrete was a big part of the change. Originally, we were still at over 7,000 square foot of concrete. So that's where we actually were able to cut down the savings. We didn't actually have to really touch the playground at all from one design to another. That
What
was
kind
the-
of swings are, like, what kind of swings are on the rendering?
There's 2 standard swings and then the disc swing.
Are they the belted ones or are they the
Yeah,
solid
the
ones?
belted.
Okay, I couldn't tell. Yeah, well, and I could. Gotcha.
I think actually in the renderings, it is the harder plastic ones, but we have both.
And say that one looked like the little
mean-
platform ones.
The difference in them is like $8. I'll throw it in, whichever one we want.
Would you like to look at the baby swing for one of these as well? If
Think
you did go that
so.
way?
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty, I feel like at least one baby swing should be pretty standard, just for our purposes, because we have so many small children.
I can look at that. The concern that I have is most with ADA or certain swings, it's either the toddler or the baby swing. One of them cannot be in the bay with a single. So if I switch them, I have to
Oh.
switch both.
Okay.
Mm.
So I believe it is the baby swing. That's the one that has to, but I will double check with my ADA team and
Okay.
get you an answer back on that more.
Okay.
But that's worst case scenario. If we change them, we have to change them both or we can't change them. So
Okay, if we can't, if we have to change them both, I'd rather we don't change them at all.
that's,
But-
was my assumption. So that's why I went the way I
We need a
did.
regular swing, but it would be nice to also have a baby swing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and can we add it on to the end like we're talking about on the other design? If we're gonna do,
I don't think there's a space for an arm, because there's
Mhm.
like a.
We don't have the ability to do the arm, but what it would be.
Is
is
this a
that would be
triangle?
There's an A-frame.
Very
Mm.
expensive endeavor because we would have to add probably close to another 250 square foot of turf.
mm,
So it would be close to $6,000 just in surfacing and probably close to $10,000 or $12,000 structure to add the extra bay.
okey dokey.
Like the merry-go-round. That one's cool.
Mm.
How many different sensory structures are on that smaller playset?
There are the music panels, you have the music panels, you have the time sensory, you have the couple different interaction, and them panels can be changed out, switched. We have the tic-tac-toe panel, we have a spinner sensory on it, spinner in the middle there. And then we have a clock on it as well, but all of them are adjustable. We can pick different ones if we choose to do different ones. Most of the changes in panels don't change the cost at all, so it's just a preference.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? Alrighty.
Okay.
How does thank you so much. I'm just trying to
thank
figure
you
out
for having
how order of operations goes. So I know
So,
we have public
I would,
comment.
I would, yeah, open it up for
Okay.
public comment for the playground discussion only,
Okay.
which you just gotta open and close it if we
And
don't
close
have it.
Since there's no one here.
Okay, then we're gonna open it and close
Close
it
it.
again.
Okay, and then I'll kind of walk through this. So,
That sounds good.
as we're a Parks and Rec committee, we make the recommendation to the Board of Aldermen. So, we'll go by, we could basically, I'll go through each of you individually and you just let me know which one you want and I'll take that vote. Obviously majority will take to the Board of Aldermen, as a recommendation and they'll make the final decision on that. So,
Do we do any form of like group discussion previous to that?
You can.
okay.
I'd like to.
Do we have before we open discussion? Can we
Yeah.
have motion in a second on item number 4?
What was item number 4?
That's the Emerald Ridge design discussion, because we didn't have a motion because we did the presentation first, right?
Yep.
So motion to approve Emerald Ridge Park design. Second.
Second.
Now it's open. Now we can discuss.
Okay, alrighty. I'm just gonna open the floor because we've gone back and forth on both of these a couple of times. There's pros and cons to each, I feel like, and I just would like to group talk what that looks like. Anybody want to start?
I will. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And since JB's not here tonight, there's no tiebreaker, so we can send it to the board with the tie and really mess with them. Cause I don't get a vote there either. Since the beginning, I think Athco's done a good job of delivering what we've asked for. Adding the shade structure but this, I mean, the number one thing we requested at the beginning of this was the swing. It's been consistently in there. The other things have been tweaked and it's constantly been under or at budget. Can't say the same about Compan. It seems like it's limiting on what we can get from them. That's where I'm at.
Okay. Anybody else have thoughts and opinions? One or the other, or both?
I'm leaning towards the APCO design, and I think I can list off several of the things, but we've talked about them all, so that's for my. That's that.
I really like the changes to the Athco design a lot, and it honestly just it just looks more fun. Like just looking at when I look at the two, like if I'm trying to channel my inner child in me, I think I'd rather play on that one.
I have a question about the process a little bit. So when we do the vote tonight, we're gonna decide on which company to go with, and from there we are
Which
still
company to
gonna
recommend to the
continue
board?
to make those tweaks that we
Yep.
have talked about. But we haven't actually seen the final.
Yeah, we
designs and
can,
numbers.
we'll make
Okay.
sure the board, like we've talked about it here, we can make sure that the final plan that goes to the Board of Aldermen has the final decision,
Okay.
the final plan. the one design.
Cool.
And they may have design changes themselves, so it could come back to us at a certain point too. So nothing's finalized from here. Obviously, we just make the recommendation.
And thank you both for coming out and listening to everything that we've said, because
Yeah.
it's been
Yeah, it's been months of this.
very good,
Yeah.
a lot of back and forth, but I appreciate the designs, because honestly, they're both great.
Mhm.
They're both awesome in their own way, and yeah, appreciate your guys' work on it.
Kyle, did you have anything?
No, my main concern's budget, right? I want to be on budget or under budget.
Mhm.
You know, especially for
Agreed.
a small park, you know, this isn't the downtown park that we're looking at, so I want
Mhm.
to be at or under. And I think they're both really trying. I just want to make sure that ATHCO understands if we do go that direction, that we're at or under the budget, which I feel like you presented that we would be, right?
All right, I always try to leave the floor open for everybody else before I talk, because I talk a lot. So my overall assessment of both things, I feel like you guys have been super patient with us and come back with a lot of things, answered a absolute ton of questions. Some I feel like were dumb questions on my own part, but I really appreciate you guys being really patient with us. From the beginning on this playground, really the want and need was a wheelchair accessible swing. And that is happening on ATHCO, plus all the other things that we've asked for. And I think that's the direction that I'd like to go. I love the other design, especially the little ones' play structure. Looks fantastic. It's just really the heart and desire for this playground was for it to be wheelchair accessible.
Well, and I think we have an opportunity in a couple years to do something at Smith's Fork in our destination playground plan
Mhm.
that can deliver the elements that are in the design with soccer, permanent soccer and all those other things that just don't fit in that small of a park.
Yeah.
I think we could, you know, especially when you express things like additional space and all those different things. We have a lot of space at Smith's Fork for our destination playground.
Mhm.
We'll have a lot more budget.
The budget will be a lot
Yeah,
different,
and
yeah.
it'll be a lot, you know, we'll have more parking, we'll have more things where that would make a lot of sense too. So. Anyway.
Is there any further discussion? Does anyone have any questions, any thoughts before we move on?
It's our third playground, Danny. We gotta do this one, right? Third time's a charm, right?
And the thing is, like, my biggest thing is it's that, but it's also, I feel like we've learned from every playground that we've designed since the beginning of this committee, and I've been here since the beginning of this committee. And going through the process of doing that and seeing like what has worked and what has not worked, and then like rectifying problems later. And then going to the board dinner that we went to, and like really hearing from people who go to playgrounds and there's nothing for them. Like that was something that I'm like, he's right. Once you've learned that there are these issues and then you don't address them, like that's on you. And I don't want that to be on us. I want us to do better now that we know better. And really that's the desire for this one. So I feel like as we go on and move from playground to playground, we set a new standard and we set a new bar. And from our last playground to this one, like this will be a new bar. And then by the time we get to Smith's Fork, there's going to be a whole new set of things we're going to want and need. And I'm glad that you guys have been super patient with us on that. So
Greatly said.
we've also been like way choosier on this playground than we have on any of the others. And we've gone back and forth a lot more on this one than we have on any other. So
Yeah.
I appreciate all the patience.
Budget's bigger, but we weren't in a rush and
Right.
no need to be.
I think you're just picking it because you matched your classes
It
and.
may just me. No. All right. If there is no further discussion, I need a motion.
Where you got it? Where you did it?
Wait.
There.
Oh, we did? We don't have to motion the specific
Yeah.
one?
No, Matt's gonna just kind of straw poll us, but.
Cool. Sounds good.
Okay. Just a second, let me get.
To find my title page again.
It's just public comment left.
Yeah. All right.
Hang on for
So
Matt too. Yeah,
do you need a minute, Matt?
he's got a,
Yep, okay. No,
he's
Writing.
getting,
Writing something.
Writing.
doing his notes.
all right, so I'll go around the room and you can just let me know if you would rather have Compan or Athco. Okay, so I'll start here. Kyle Squires,
First, man, AFCO.
Pressure's on.
Ben,
Athco.
Leah,
Athco.
Mayor,
Athco,
Mayor Boley,
thank you.
Danny,
AFCO.
and Haley.
We're not gonna do Liberty Blue, though.
That's fine by me. The color, like, have fun with the color.
That was 6-0 for Athco.
Yeah.
So the motion will be made, so for Athco to the Board of Aldermen. Okay, thank
That'll
you
be
all.
on the next agenda.
It's on the May 7th one.
Cool.
Okay. All right, Danny.
All right, moving on to public comment for tonight. I know that we have somebody. Good night.
There's a clock here too, so we know how much time is.
Yeah.
Maybe we didn't notice the shot clock.
I'm Dwayne Knott
Yeah,
with the
no.
American Legion. And it's not so much a public comment as it is. I just want to recognize the Parks Department, its leadership and this park board for what you do with the parks here in Smithfield. It's amazing. I spent 30 some odd years working with the Environmental Protection Agency. And I don't live in Smithfield. I live 4 miles out of town, but I am proud of Smithfield and what you do. Thank you
Yeah,
for
thanks,
that.
Dwayne.
And also for observing Earth Day this week. It's not done by everyone, and it's exceptional with the board's leadership, parks leadership, and the city leadership. Thank you. I'm actually here to confirm the agreement I believe that we have in place with the American Legion band that plays summer concerts. We'll have a band of 20 to 25 members this summer. And our desire was to move back to the park, Heritage Park downtown, and utilize the stage. We've coordinated with the Farmers and Makers Market, and they're affirmative in wanting us to join them. Would be 4 concerts on each Wednesday night, the month of June, free of charge to the public. The Legion will provide chairs, sound system, music stands, and bandstand. We would ask to utilize the power outlet to run the PA system if that's agreeable with you. And just I coming here tonight to solidify that, to make sure we're all on the same page. And if we are on the same page, to thank you for that.
Yeah, and I can talk with you more after that, because it would be a decision with me, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't
Yeah.
think that's actually us as a board. I think that'd be all Matt,
Oh, well then, that was.
You're in the right
but I hope that works out for you.
Completely inappropriate.
No, you're fine.
What I do think it's appropriate, with my American Legion hat on now, in these troubled times in our country and some bit of division with unrest on campuses, to ask the room with the permission of the board to stand and remove our hats and maybe be reminded of the pledge to our flag and join me in that.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Did you want to lead that?
Pardon?
Did you want to lead that?
Sure. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Wayne.
Sorry, I came to the board meeting with an inappropriate
No, it's
coordination effort.
We appreciate that you felt comfortable coming and talking to us. And thank you so much for your service.
Thank you for what you do. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Wayne.
All right. Do we have anything for new business? Matt, where did we, and I'm only asking because we're in the new business, did we end up anywhere in particular on the photo project that you and I talked about?
We have not yet.
Okay.
But we could start getting on that again though.
I would love that.
Okay.
That'd be
Yeah,
great.
do we need a meeting for May?
We
We
did.
were talking about having the summer off
Mi-
originally.
We have June and July off, but we do have someone interested in speaking on Tree City USA from Missouri Conservation Department. She was supposed to speak at the March or the February meeting, but we went long, so.
Okay,
Can we do a May meeting?
yeah, okay.
Everybody okay with that?
And then we'll have June, July off.
Mhm.
So
And then we can work on getting discussion for Ben's proposal as well of getting some more information on that and doing that. So be perfect timing. Then I'd like to do a little bit, bring the lawyer back in and give us a refresh on rules and things like that. And maybe a slight retreat just to figure out next goals and things like that coming up here in the future. So, because this will be kind of the last like part playground type project. The next big one is Smith's Fork ball field project. So that's going to take a lot of input and design for that. So
Okay.
money's, I mean, it's a $2 million project. So be kind of the first big project that this committee and all of us will be working on.
Yep.
Cool. All right, any other new business? All right, then we are finished for the night. Can I
Motion
have-
to adjourn.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.